Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we'll be looking back at my recent trip to book dealer Dorset Bob. Now, Dorset Bob is a specialist SF and fantasy book dealer. He does other bits and pieces as well, but that's mainly his bread and butter. I was joined on this trip by Steve, the Outlaw Bookseller, fellow YouTuber, and also SF and designer Rian Hughes. So we talked to all those people as well as Bob himself. We have a look around his warehouse. I bought a few books, not too many, but I bought a few, and we'll take a look at those at the end of the video. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Right, so I thought while we're having a look at Bob's stock, he is right next to me enjoying a delicious coffee. And how are you today, Bob?
Very well, thank you, Jules. So all the better for seeing yourself and that outlaw who is over the other side.
Yeah, the outlaw bookseller himself, yeah. So it's been a few months since the paperback show. And what have you been up to since then? Have you bought any more huge collections in?
No, it's come in little chunks. I did buy a nice little collection from somebody who was quite active in the fantasy World Fantasy Con, and a few other bits and pieces, and just stuff when I see it. But yeah, no, my focus has been trying to sort, grade, bag, price, you know, the books that came in earlier in the year.
Which was a massive collection.
It was, and very, very high quality.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, if you've not seen that video on the channel, do take a look at that one because it's fantastic. But when you get a big collection, I'm feeling the same as yourself now. It just takes so long to process it properly, and you try and prioritize a few bits and pieces of it. But I have I've been struggling a little bit, and I think with what I've got now, I've probably got a year's work ahead of me. It's not a joke, a year's work. And
easily.
You know. There's only so much we can take to shows. We do have a couple of shows coming up, don't we?
We do. Yes, there's the Innsmouth Literary Festival, which is a kind of one-day Lovecraftian event up just north of London, which was good fun. We did it last year together.
It was, it was much. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was actually really good fun, and they were an interesting bunch.
And we've also got that trip to Morris at Zardos. All you need is books. No.
He did change it, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Sure, he's changed it. Yeah.
Oh, if he's changed it, there we are. I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, I'll flash up the exact date and details on the screen so that no one's going along on the wrong day.
Oh no, that's right. No, very important, especially if somebody's travelling.
Yeah, we haven't really started advertising it yet, but it is coming up, and I'm sure it's the first Sunday in October. Right. Which is the 5th or 6th.
That's absolutely fine.
I think Morris said he had some family commitments, so...
Oh, okay.
Something popped up and he has to do that, which is fair enough.
Yeah. Well, it's switched this year to the Sunday, isn't it?
Back to Sunday. Yeah, we'll try it on the Sunday.
There was a little bit of an experiment with doing it on a Saturday because public transport tends to be better.
That's
but a lot of people already committed to stuff on a Saturday, so it's always difficult to know, isn't it?
Very, very hard, but that's what we've got coming up, and of course no sign at the moment of another London paperback show. There's no date. No. We're assuming it's going to be next year now.
Presumably next spring will be the earliest, won't it?
Absolutely.
Once the etc. fairs have got a hotel settled and sorted and refitted. I mean, that was the issue, wasn't it?
It was the September show they've had to cancel because they couldn't get alternative venue. So this Morris's show at Zardos will probably be the final show for paperback collectors this year, won't it?
Yeah, well,
yeah. But there's always mail order, so all that you see here with Bob is our mail order. How's it best to sort of contact you?
Just ping me an email if anyone sees anything that they're interested in, or even if they don't see it and they think, I wonder if Bob's got any XYZ, just ping me an email and I usually get back within 24 hours or so. And if I can help, I will. And then what I do is I tend to just take a series of photographs and send them through with some prices, and then there we go. It's as simple as that.
Brilliant. So, well, thanks, Bob. So what I'm going to do while you're being interviewed with Steve on his channel, I'm going to be filming your racks because you've got an awful lot here and it's really well organised. Like you say, you've got a bit more space now. So it does make quite the difference.
Yeah,
So,
it's still a work in progress, but we're getting there.
oh, brilliant. Thanks, mate. So this is upstairs, sort of in the mezzanine level. A couple of Dexter proofs there. It's a great show. And up here is where Bob keeps some of his massive run of the science fiction pulps, things like Analog. You see a superb run of these, all numerically ordered. Look at these from the 1960s. These ones from the 70s here. Pull an odd one out. These are great. If I had the room, I wouldn't hesitate to collect these. But they are little space devourers. This is the new Pam books that Bob's had in. Sadly, I've been through them and I have got them all. But maybe you haven't. There's a few there. I'm not going to film every single shelf, but as we heard Bob say, if there's something you particularly want, then give him a shout. This is quite a scarce one. This is Evan Hunter, quite sought after with the syringe cover. More familiar, of course, is Ed McBain. And Bob's place is full of really cool stuff like that. I mean, that is just great, isn't it? So yeah, some of these American ones are very, very nice. Got a little run of Avenger books there. And then got quite a bit of Corgi, vintage and science fiction Corgi. A few door books there. Might check my list against what's what. But yeah, lots and lots of good stuff. I'll have time to film some of this later on, so don't worry. I will try and get through most of it if I can. But yeah, this is well, if you've seen the previous videos, you know the quality of Bob's stock. It is excellent. And he will mail order right around the world. Okay then, Steve, so what is that you've got in your hand?
Well, in my hand I have Charnel House, the ultimate terror novel by Graham Masterton, a reliable old hand if ever there was one.
Indeed.
And this is in the Ghost Hunters library. And I am thinking of getting this today because this may sound strange, but I really love books of the plain livery. And I love that title, Charnel House. And I do like a bit of Graham on the quiet. And this leads to the question of, what do I collect and why? Well, obviously I collect books and authors whose work I really enjoy. That's primary the thing. But I also do what I call nostalgia collecting. This is an example of a nostalgia collecting book, which I bought one of these from Bob either earlier this year or last year. Because I'm a bookseller and you grow older and the light of early days continues to shine brightly. And for me, the 1980s was a really important period because that's when I started selling books. And I had great fun selling science fiction, fantasy, horror, and lots of other things as well in the early days of my career. The first 5-6 years are particularly important to me because it was the golden age of British bookselling there. And there are books that I sold like this, Stephen Donaldson's Daughter of Regals. It was not somebody I'm really that fond of. But the reality is that the livery, the illustrations and the associations of books have a great meaning. I mean, it's a classic example. Another example here with Stephen Donaldson, and this is the most common of the Thomas Cabinet books. I mean, I've not read this one. I've read the early ones, and I'm not a massive fan. But the significance of what I used to sell. So I collect a lot of things that I used to sell. So I have a lot of books which I haven't read and may never read, particularly in fantasy. But they have a singular meaning to me. They bring back associations and memories, people I work with, customers who became friends. I've got figures in my head of books, how many copies of an Anne McCaffrey I sold, things like that. So, you know, that's an important part of collecting. So it's a very personal thing. So that's on top of things, authors I like, books I like, and I upgrade a lot of things which I couldn't afford in paperback or couldn't find easily then. I go up to hardcover. So that's really what I collect. So this is a possibility for today.
Well, that is really good. Thank you. So Steve and Bob are gone inside now to look at a bit more of Bob's stock, which isn't out here. So I'm taking this opportunity to do these bits as best I can. Lots of Terry Pratchett's. New writings in SF in hardback. Really nice to have those. And of course, lots of books about books, which is a great subject. I really enjoy those. So I should be having a close look at some more of these in a minute. Hopefully I'm doing this slow enough so you can see what hardbacks Bob's got in stock. And I'm doing the commentary as we sort of look, really, which is rather than doing it separately on the computer afterwards. So hopefully be a little bit quicker for me to produce because I have got a lot on at the moment. But it's been quite a while. Beautiful book this. It's been quite a while since I've had chance to come and film Bob's stock, so I'll make the most of it while I'm here. Nice run of Robert Jordan hardbacks there. Very nice indeed. Let's see if I can get a bit higher. You can see those guidebooks and stuff. As you can see, it goes on and on and on. Okay, so it's a little bit busier in here now. We've got author Rian Hughes, who has appeared on the channel before. I usually bump into him at the London Paperback Show. He's also here today with visiting Dorset Bob and going through Bob's incredible pulp stock, which I believe is his interest. So if you hear some voices in the background, that's what it is. It's Bob and Rian.
Oh, right, okay.
But that's all good. So I shall continue my delightful browsing here. There's so much to see. This is, you know, predominantly the hardback section of Bob's stock. And he has plenty here. So plenty of people have now visited Bob, so once again it's by appointment only, you can't just rock up. So do just drop Bob a line if you're tempted. If there's plenty here that you're like, oh, I've got to have a look at that, that might be the best way. But if you can't make it, or if you're overseas, not a problem for Bob to do mail order.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, come with me.
Very nice. The Peter Benchley there.
I'll show you where things are in the house as well.
Excellent stuff. Right, so I've just grabbed a quick 5 minutes with Rian Hughes. How are you, Rian, today? And look at that! What a gorgeous little pulp. That is that 50s. That one.
This is an Alex Schomburg cover from July 1954. Fantastic Universe.
Amazing.
Fantastic Universe. I don't know a great deal about, other than the fact that they did have some great covers.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the quality of the stories are like.
And Bob has probably just got a few pounds on that one, I would think, if that.
I think they're like £3 or £4.
But
So,
I mean, you just can't go wrong, can you?
Yeah.
Cannot go wrong.
I'm treating myself.
You're treating yourself. So it's been a while since we spoke, Ryan. We saw each other briefly at the London Paperback Show, but it was manic that day, wasn't it?
Yes.
What have you been up to? What's been happening?
What have I been up to? I have been doing my sort of usual comic book design work.
I saw something on Twitter.
Last year we rebooted EC Comics, that famous comics line. So I was involved in the design of those, which was a dream come true, basically.
Yeah,
as a sort of EC addict.
What a brand!
Classic brand.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
to be able to sort of bring that back was great fun.
And does that mean mainly the cover designs and stuff, or the logos, or the
yes, the logos and the cover templates. Right. So the other sort of furniture that goes around the logo, and EC Comics was always typified by a kind of square illustration with quite a large logo at the top.
Yeah.
So we wanted to keep that.
Right.
I mean, when you do a redesign of a classic brand like that, what you've got to decide is what to keep and what to dispense with. But that classic branding is what screams EC. So I kept that. What else have I been working on? Probably a lot of stuff under NDA.
No, that's fair enough.
The new novel is finished.
Okay, yeah. Picador again?
Sorry?
It's Picador?
Well, it's in colour, which Picador politely declined, saying it would be somewhat expensive for them to do. So I'm left with the choice of either trying to make it black and white or looking for another publisher. So at the moment, we've got the feelers out to see whether anyone wants to do novel number 3 in colour.
Does that mean it's sort of edging onto almost like a graphic novel?
Well, the thing is that it's very much like the Black Locomotive in XX, and in that it's mostly probably about sort of 60% typeset like a normal novel would be. But then it has sort of interventions, typographic and graphic design and illustration interventions. And those are in colour in this new one. Yeah. And the story revolves around, or one thread of the story, the last sort of 100 years of British popular fiction. So I've invented a lot of characters and magazines and comics, all of which I've sort of designed the covers for. And then every so often you get a little comic strip insert. And so we've got like Sean Phillips drew one for me, Duncan Fregredo did another, Dave Johnson did one for me. So all these people I've worked with in the past through comics, I've been able to sort of pull in and get them involved.
Oh, fantastic.
So those, David Roach did a beautiful, he's always told me that he'd love to do a romance story. So I thought, well, okay, I'll work a romance story into this. So hopefully that will see the light of day.
If you can get a publisher. What about the sort of Kickstarter if no publisher comes forward?
Well, I've done a couple of Kickstarters, and I was surprised at how well they went. I mean, like the Ray Guns and Rocket Ships that you so kindly featured in your thing.
That's such a great book.
Well, thank you. That was me cataloguing all this kind of stuff that I'm
fantastic.
buying at the moment.
Yeah.
But,
this is Ray Guns and Rocket Ships come to life, isn't it? In the flesh.
Well, I'd love to do a Ray Guns and Rocket Ships that sort of picks up after Ray Guns and Rocket Ships started and finished, and maybe did the 70s and 80s. But it's a lot of work, and
a bit harder with commissions and copyrights.
It probably is. I mean, a lot of those publishers in that book no longer exist. So, yes, you're less likely to run into issues with that. I am doing another Kickstarter, but it's not really related to this. It's I mean, one of the other things I do is typeface design, and have done for 30 years.
Fantastic fonts,
And so about to launch is a Kickstarter for a catalogue that I'm doing, where I am
Have your fonts in?
assembling all of the fonts that I've designed.
I did actually see that one, so I will put a link to that Kickstarter because I think it looked fantastic.
Oh, cheers.
Didn't I read somewhere that one of your fonts had been used by NASA on their website?
No. Oh, no. There's a friend of mine whose font actually went to Mars on a probe.
Wow.
Which I don't think you can beat. But no, this was...
Are there fonts on Mars?
No, what... I designed a font, which is probably one of the most popular fonts I've designed, called Korolev. Okay. And I had a book of photographs by Alexander Rodchenko, sort of Soviet modernist photographer.
Yeah.
And there are shots in there of this parade in Red Square from about 1920, I can't remember the exact date. And for all these signs up around Red Square, there was a specific font that I'd never seen before. Anyway, that served as the basis for this font called Korolev, and I named it after Sergei Korolev, who was the
chief engineer.
Yeah,
the chief engineer of the Russian, the Soviet space program.
How fascinating!
He spent time in a gulag somewhere along the way.
He was denounced by his best friend, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's a horrific story.
And then they had to pull him out so he could work on the rockets.
Yeah,
he was like the Russian von Braun, and his identity was secret, wasn't it? Until after his death, he was closely guarded. Yeah.
Anyway, that font. They chose to all of the imagery that's related from the James Webb Space Telescope uses Korolev. So I don't know whether NASA picked up on the association with the space program, but so yes, my fonts have not been on a spaceship.
No,
although I would love that to happen. NASA, if you're watching, but they have been on the publicity release, the releases of the imagery from the James Webb Space Telescope.
Wow, that is quite something. Well, Ryan, we are out of time, I'm afraid, but fantastic to catch up again. I'm sure we will again in the future.
Cheers, Jules. Definitely.
My pleasure. Thanks,
I'll see you at the next Mart.
Yes, indeed.
I might still be here, sort of browsing these shelves. In which case, come and find me.
Okay. Some Ian Banks there. Walking on Glass, so one of those early ones. 2 copies of that, in fact. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Now let's have a look down this side, which has got paperbacks. This is A to D down this alley, so you get an idea of just how much is here. I've found a couple of door already, and there's more here to check against my list. So there's a few here I shall be going back and checking on in a minute. So, generally speaking, Bob's books aren't sorted by publisher, although there are a few odd ones that are. That's beautiful, that, isn't it? That Boardman. Boardman SF, I think, is particularly nice. What's Bob got on that? £10. That might be a tempter. I haven't got much Boardman SF, and I do like it. Really, really period, you know. So definitely a few things to consider. There's some new writings in SF. Look at those beautiful copies that Bob's got. Particularly that last volume, number 30. That's tough. So if you're missing any of those, Bob is definitely your guy for them. So it's not a comprehensive shelf tour this time round. It's just a feeler for a taster, shall we say, of what is here. And I see even more hardbacks on this shelf now, so these have expanded a bit more. So I see a lot more Terry Pratchett. Some Anne Rice there, a little run of Anne Rice. Kim Stanley Robinson. Very nice. Okay, Steve, so it's towards the end of our shopping adventures with Bob, and
Very enjoyable
once again,
they've been as well.
it's been
Yes,
great, and
yeah.
we'll head off to the pub in a minute. But
Excellent.
I thought it might be a good opportunity for people who perhaps haven't seen the Outlaw Booksellers channel, or maybe they've seen like an odd video.
Yeah.
You could tell them a bit more about what you've done and where you're heading with it, really.
Well, we've just, shall I say we, it's the royal we. I've just celebrated 4 years of Outlaw Bookseller, coming up to 16,000 subscribers, and I cover science fiction, fantasy, horror, slipstream, and some cult books, various other bits and pieces as well. And I'm very big on what I think of as the definitive era of SF, when it was evolving from 1950 to 1990. I cover new things as well. And what I do, I think, which is different to everybody else, is that I do things in a very conversational, off-the-cuff style, and I do some more formal things as well. But I do them from the perspective of somebody who has not just been a science fiction reader for a long time, and a big reader per se, but also as a professional bookseller, having worked in the industry for 41 years in various roles. We have a members area, the club room, which is $4.99 a month. And there's an exclusive video in there every week for people who join. And we've got quite a few members. And I've just started releasing videos from that archive from a year ago. I'm releasing one a fortnight onto the main body of the channel, so you can have a look, see what you fancy. And where do we go from here? Well, really, I have had some health issues, which have prevented some things. But really, it's just to continue to document my reading and collecting journey, to share anecdotes and opinions. I'm very big on theory with science fiction and the way it has worked in historical context. And I'm also a stickler, some would say a pedant, for discussing terminology. And so I guess I'm halfway in between being a professional and an amateur. I wrote 3 books for the Bloomsbury Good Reading Guide series. I've lectured at universities, but my real sort of perspective is from being a professional bookseller with a particular focus on SF. So if you haven't seen my channel, do take a look, and you'll find there's many adventures that Mr. Burt and I have shared together.
Indeed, yeah, well,
and many more in the future.
On eBay, and of course on YouTube, I should say. No adventures on eBay, no. But on YouTube, and of course back in the day we worked together, didn't we?
We worked together
for a while
ago.
as buyers.
Back about 12 years ago, and it was a great experience.
Long ago, was it?
Yeah, it was is it 12? I think it's more like 14. The years are moving on. But yeah, it was a great experience. And one of the most enjoyable thing about YouTube is making new friends, but also connecting with old friends like yourself. And various writers who I've met and known over the years. So you'll see on my channel there's interviews with people like Michael Moorcock, Christopher Priest, M. John Harrison, Chris Beckett, other people as well, and hopefully more of that to come. So upwards and onwards,
Fantastic.
So, thanks for that, Jules.
No problem, mate, and always fantastic to see you, mate.
And you, it's always a pleasure.
Excellent.
We need bookish friends.
Thanks, mate. And this is the second row, so everybody's inside at the moment. So I'll take my chance and do a little bit more filming. So Bob's got some beautiful, beautiful condition Star Trek books there. Some tip-top shape early photo novels as well. But this is where a lot of Bob's pulp stock is. I've just been through and had a little look at the Badger books. And he's got some Impulse New Worlds of SF, authentic science fiction. Fantastic pulp books. And this is the rest down the bottom here. That's the rest of Bob's Pam books. As you can see, there's plenty there. He's got some nice Pam books there. Sadly, I've got all those, so they're no good. But yeah, if we just look our way down here, if you are after any sort of pulp, science fiction pulps, just give Bob a shout. He's got them all, most of the British published ones in depth. He's got a good selection of American ones as well. Here's yet more hardback stock from his recent hauls. Try and get in there so you can see what he's got. Always something here. And he's permanently picking stuff up. So all good stuff. There's some Galaxy SF and Fantasy and SF. More of the New Worlds, they're the earlier ones. Plus Nebula. And then onto the continuation of paperback fiction with the Ease for David Eddings. Some Jose Farmer to check out there. Yes, all very good stuff. Some SF anthologies, but these are just author A to Z. So fairly easy to shop this stuff now. And I would imagine very easy for Bob to actually fish books out, should there be particular ones that you want. Yes, excellent. So what I thought we'd do while the guys are having a look through the racks, I thought we could have a closer look through some of these amazing pulps, because it's not every day you see pulps of this sort of vintage. These are fantastic adventures. This is July 1950, so not mega rare or mega old, but we do have older ones to look at. So we'll zoom through these. I think they're fantastic, these. And then we'll look at a few others. This April 1944, that one there. Bob's got £12 on it. Look at it, big bulk one. It's 144 pages. What's that? War of the Giant Apes. Fantastic stuff. So these are startling stories. So once again, we'll take a few out. Similar sort of thing. These are 1946. No, in the States. No. And they're not mega. This is from 1944. There's no price on that one. It's American. Very, very nice. Something that we're not going to see. So if you fancy something like this, maybe just a couple of odd ones. That's what I think I'm going to be doing. They're not expensive. So this one here, this is about 1952. This one, £9.50. That. So incredible, really. This is 1951. Beautiful airbrushed artwork. Look at that. £9 on that one for a startling story from 1951. The original American printing. It's just lovely, isn't it? Do you not think? Good stuff. A bit later, 50s, 1953. Good stuff. I angle the camera down a little bit. We'll look at the shelf below, which is amazing stories. some more. That's another huge one. Look at this. This is June 1942. That one, June 1942. Look at that. £20 Bob's got on that. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah, not expensive. Brilliant, absolutely amazing. They truly are amazing stories. Hopefully we can just about get these in picture. These are astounding stories. A bit more of a famous one, this. More well known. That's September 1935, that one. £15 for that. And some of these Bob will have in multiple editions.
You mentioned about the picture.
There's a couple here. Certainly there's some covers I particularly wouldn't mind. So if I come across them, some of them British here, if I come across them, I'm going to pull them out. There is a particular one I'm looking for, which I'm going to see if we can find it. That's lovely. Look at that, June 1941. Very nice. Very, very nice. So here's a look through the books I picked up from Dorset Bob on this visit. This is a nice Panther. This is 763. Split image by Reed de Rouen. It's got a cover by Josh Kirby there. You can just see Kirby's signature in the bottom right corner there. So that's particularly nice. It's one I didn't have, so I was very, very pleased to get that. And in a similar vein, I did pick up that Boardman book you saw in the video. This one's Pargram was the cover artist. Boardman didn't do loads of SF, but they did a bit, and I've not got many. I've just got a few, but I really like their design. So that was a couple of nice early SF titles. I also picked up 3 Badger books that I didn't have. Now, Dorset Bob has had lots of Badger through his hands over the years, and a lot of them are like these. They're like almost like file copies because they came directly from the publisher. Bob bought a real hoard of them back in the day. So I bought 3 Westerns, 3 that I didn't have myself. So cheap and cheerful. There was no science fiction or fantasy ones there that I needed, but I was very, very pleased to get those. I got a nice hardback here. This is published by Faber and Faber there. Best SF Stories, edited by Edmund Chrisman. I've got this in paperback in actual fact. It's a really nice anthology. It's not, tip-top shape, but it's a real nice period piece. And these are the sorts of old SF books that I don't mind picking up in hardback. I got some doors. So we've been showing doors on the channel recently, and these were, what did I get? 1, 2, 3. I got 6 doors that I didn't have. So always good to get a few doors. And these weren't too expensive, and they've all got nice yellow spines on them, so they fit the bill. And I have recently shown the doors on the channel, but these were additions for my collection, so very, very pleased to get those. Nothing mega special, but still pleased to get them. I got 2 by Brian Lumley. Now I knew Brian really well. He passed away last year. He only lived up the road from me in Torquay, and I used to have all of these Necroscope books. I mean, admittedly, these were the copies I used to have were my reading copies, and I've since got rid of them, but they were all signed because I did a couple of events with them. He even signed in my shop back in the 90s when Necroscope got put into comic book form. So I've been on the lookout for first prints of the Necroscope books, and Bob had a couple, so he had number 2 here as a first print, which is quite nice because there's actually a review copy, so it's got a little review slip from Grafton inside there, which is quite nice. Yeah, it says there he lives in Brixham, Devon. When I knew him, he was in Torquay, and this is indeed the first print. These were real sellers. 1988, that one, a PBO. The first, you probably recognise that style of jacket, and they did all come out like that, but number 1 actually has a different jacket. It's like a yellow livery, and that's the one to look for in first print. So I got that one, and I got this one, which was a 3-part sequel to the 5-part Necroscope series, which is also perhaps some of the best sort of horror Lovecraftian horror that I've ever read. And you can see the size of the books are absolutely enormous. But somehow, when I was reading this trilogy as it was coming out, I was able to get through like 50 to 100 pages each evening because it was that sort of compelling. So that was really good as well to get those two. I did also get, surprisingly, this Penguin series. This is Penguin Modern Stories. These started in the late 1960s and went into the early 1970s. There's 12 in the set, and Bob had the set there. Then they all suffer a little bit from a little bit of spine fading. But it was nice to pick them up. I don't think I've got, I may have 1 or 2 odd volumes of this, but that's it. So quite nice to get them. The series was designed, if you can believe it, by David Pelham, the famous artist. So quite cool to get these. Him along with Alan Aldridge are a couple of my favourite Penguin designers of all. And that was the full set 1 to 12. So that was pretty cool. Then the last thing I got was this, which is it's a book on the artwork of Chris Achillos, or Christos Achillos, he was Greek, Amazonia. And this was published by Titan Books. It's a fairly modern one because there were some of his books published by Paper Tiger in the early 80s and early to late 80s, which I do have, but this is a bit more of a comprehensive volume, and Titan Books are really good. And this is a real beautiful high quality volume there, so I'm very pleased to get that. And Bob only had $10.95 on it. That's about half price when it was brand new, and I do love his attention to detail. Anyway, that's what I got in my haul. I do go into these books in a bit more detail, and we'll unwrap them on my members only video, which also includes a little bit of behind the scenes content from the day with Dorset Bob, Steve the Outlaw Bookseller, and of course Ryan and Bob themselves. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit more footage, do please consider joining the channel as a supporter, either via YouTube channel memberships or via Patreon, where you can join from as little as £1. You get an exclusive video each week, and also all my key videos you get to see early, including my sales ones. So do bear that in mind. Thanks very much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to email Bob if you spotted anything in the video that you'd like to buy yourself, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.